Alright, timestamp May 14th, 2026. It is real close to 3 a.m. Sorry, Tam. Quack. Hi, Scrappy. Health check. Feel okay. Had a little bit of, not really panic attack, but kind of a little bit throughout the day. Good stuff. Not really. Yeah, Acorn's getting very optimistic. Not going to happen. So I made the, show you what it looked like when I was done. That is the 4 Patriots. I got 2 of these guys. Basically set up as leftovers, and everybody, i.e. myself and my 2 kids, each had probably 2 or 3 large bowls. Yep, you're in my way, Acorn. There you go. It's a bit of a labyrinth in here. Just missing a minotaur. Other than that, we pretty much got it covered. So, is that. Some of the MRE whatnots that my parents have, 30 cases of. Turned out pretty good, actually. So, my only criticism on this, and I doctored it, so prepare, the instructions. Open pouch, remove the oxygen absorber. Got that part. Combine 5 cups of water with the entire contents of the pouch, bring to a boil. Basically just rice, and this was kind of awful. But cover with lid, reduce heat to low, just like making regular rice. Cook for 20 to 25 minutes. They lied on the time and or the whole bring to boil whatnot. It took way more than 20, 25 minutes to set. Just, when you're doing rice, normally it takes a little bit for it to thicken, for it to really absorb the moisture and become rice and not kind of a soup with rice. Way more than 20, 25 minutes. That was like an hour of it being on simmer to actually collect the moisture it needed to do the rice thing. I actually uncovered it and brought it to a boil again to boil off some of the moisture. So I don't know if it needs to have less water, if the 5 cups was, a lie. Oi! You two quit messing around. You want to go outside? I'll let you outside. Not you, them. Excuse me, sir, did you say... That's what I heard. The palm she went. All kinds of Donald Duck on me here. Come on. Go! Go, sir. Go on. Come on. Come on. Go. Thank you. Playing red light, green light with the dogs here. So, yeah, the 5 cups thing, either it needs to be like 4 cups or have to adjust the heat. Now, what I did, because I was afraid it might be bland. Okay, first off, too, the rice, and I almost took a picture of it because I didn't think anybody would believe me. So it's got seasoning in it. The seasoning had pretty much hardened, which, okay. I'm not really surprised. It's an MRE type thing. It's been in storage for like 3 years. It really looked like a reddish brown turd. There are other people preparing this that might have been like, nope, I'm done. It went slithering out of the pack and into the bowl, into the pot, and it was just like, oh no. It was a little alarming. The 12-year-old inside of me got a good giggle out of it though. But yeah, no, I did one tube of the ground turkey. You know, it comes in a little hot dog looking tube. Basically a pound of ground turkey, 3 red onions, 1 bell pepper. Did a can of corn because we have. Tiny and I were looking at the pantry. I've been resetting that out there to where it actually makes sense and all that. And my parents have like 70 cans of corn. It's one of the only vegetables that they actually had on the shelf out there. World of corn. Having like Better Off Dead flashbacks. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Christmas with John Cusack. So yeah, I added a can of corn. Tiny was like, "Man, there's a lot of corn." I'm like, "I could add a can of corn because it's Spanish rice." So I'm already doing, ground beef, onion, pepper. I can add some corn, little Southwest kind of thing going on there. No big, and it uses some of it because, good God. But from a seasoning standpoint, I did garlic, cumin. And I've got a tomato basil. It's like dried tomato bits with basil. Tomato basil mix. Thought that might be a good add. I think Alex and Tiny both had thirds, actually. I had seconds, and I put some back. I'm going to see if Pix wants any tomorrow when she gets here. She took she took what was left of the holy mackerel that I made yesterday. When I told her that I made the mackerel, she was like, "Oh, yeah, I will take that." This guy. Thank you, Jacques. So, but I'm going to pull all the Spanish rice and get it into a tote. I wrote notes of what I did to doctor it. Just in case somebody else wants to make it, they've got the instructions as far as what I did. How I did it. It's all very Young Frankenstein. Working my list. Yeah, health check, I feel okay. My throat's a little scratchy. I don't know if I'm coming down with something or if I hope it's nothing else. I haven't been smoking more than normal. I'm still at kind of the 2 cigarillos a day, which I know needs to be 0. I'm a stress smoker, and that makes it a little tricky considering that's what my brain sounds like most of the time. It's actually my dog outside, I know. Yeah, that. I feel like you guys are just trying to game me for cookies at this point. Come on. Feel free to plow into me. He's hyper today? Right? Gently. Go. What are you looking at? That's interesting. But yeah, somebody actually threw a comment my way asking what kind of channel is this. I don't even know anymore. It's just my daily journal, really. Video log, right? I'm just a guy, 55 years old, diagnosed with emphysema a couple years ago, trying to quit smoking. 3 years ago, my wife and I pretty much walked away from everything to help my parents, just to give you a nutshell, to help my parents who were having health issues. My dad was having some cognitive issues. And about four months after I dropped a career. 4 months after that, my dad accused my wife and I of breaking in and robbing them, which never happened, but because of dementia, he was certain that it happened. and my mom was starting to have cognitive issues, and she believed it. So we kind of got a door slam. I got a door slammed in my face by my mom, who I was always on good terms with. That hurt. About a year later, my mom started realizing, because she was finding all the things that we supposedly stole in the house, and I was still calling to check on her and make sure that they were okay. She confided in me that she was beginning to think that maybe we hadn't done it. But she was having cognitive issues too, and I will make fun of that a bit on my channel, just because some of the things that we've been through, if I don't make jokes and laugh about it, I will go crazy. By day, I was in retail management. My wife and I ran a hobby store for about 9 years. Within that hobby store, we actually had a black box theater. I've done a lot of community theater. We actually ran our own theater as well for 5 years. We did a lot of improv shows there. We also did some legitimate, I mean, improv is legitimate, but some real theater, you know. So I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I'm a functioning psychotic. I'm not actually psychotic. That's the secret, is I'm not actually crazy. I just have a bent viewpoint of the world around me, and in some ways I actually see it, I think, more clearly than most do. You can agree with me, disagree with me, it's fine. All I ask is that you play nice. Ask me any questions you want, make comments, totally cool. Rudeness, not okay. Not okay. And the young lady who asked the comments the other day, that's absolutely not her. But I have had people, and you won't find the comments because I deleted them, because I have that power. Yeah, just be nice. If you're a jackhole, that was a word that one of my kids invented when they were like 8. It was like test cussing. Because little kids do that sometimes. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like they'll come right up to the edge of using a curse word, and then do something slick with it and see what the adults in the room do. So, yeah, jackhole. Am I in trouble for that one? Hey, Scrappy, you already got a cookie. Go. Tanner, here you go, sir. Do not try me. Okay, so when the dogs, you'll hear me talk about Scrappy or Acorn, both the same dog, my dog. He is almost 2 years old now. He'll be 2 in August. He's Virgo. Yeah. It's like, you're talking about me. And then Tanner, or Duke Tannhauser. All of our dogs get pompous names, just for fun. Because this goofy mutt is actually Sir Scrappy A. Cornelius. The other guy, the little Pomchi, and I only know that because my friend LT is very into little dogs. And I knew he was a Chihuahua mix, but I had no idea what I'm looking at, because I'm mostly a big dog guy. I've had Shepherds, Labradors, you know. If you can put a saddle on it, it's probably a dog I'll like. You know what I mean? So I'm not as familiar with the little dogs. I wouldn't mind getting a Jack Russell one of these days, just because I've heard they're incredibly smart. Now, I had dreams of a Jack Russell a lot for quite a while, and I don't know why. It was very strange. Yeah, I sent a picture of Tanner, because that's the only name that we have to go by, is Tanner. My parents adopted him and his brother during our exile, and any and all important paperwork has either been burned, hidden, we don't even know because dementia. But the little guy's grown on me, and he apparently likes me. He was kind of the Jan here. This is going to sound awful. Being the Jan and not the Marcia probably saved his life, because the Marcia, who was called Trip, died. I buried him last year. My dad, because dementia, was taking Raid, Hot Shot, whatever kind of bug spray he had handy, spraying it on his hands, and then rubbing it into the coat of the dogs as a means of flea protection. Which, if you read the cans, it says on there basically not for topical use. Don't do exactly what my dad is doing currently, you know. So Trip got all kinds of cysts and growths and whatnot on his exterior. And when we took him to the vet, I mentioned, because the vet was like, this is crazy, he's got all kinds of different things going on, lesions and whatnot. And I told the vet, you know, what my dad had been doing. And the vet was like, oh yeah, that could do it. That could do it. So my kids don't want to be on camera, so because my dad was always carrying Trip around and made sure and treated Trip the way he was treating him, and the fact that Tanner got ignored a lot probably is why he doesn't have any lesions and cysts and things of that nature. So, it sounds awful, right? I mean, it is awful, but being neglected probably saved his life on that. Because there were times that we were coming over to help, and my dad, Trip would be inside with my dad, and we would ask my dad, you know, where's Tanner? Where's your other dog? And he's like, oh, my dog's right there. It's like, you have two, Dad. You have two dogs. That's Trip. Where's Tanner? My dog's right there. It's like, we're just going in a circle here. Did you walk the dogs earlier? Yeah, I let him out back. Both of them? Yeah. Okay, so you let both dogs out, but you have one dog now. Oh, yeah. Where is he? We'd find him outside, out of breath, thirsty, hours later. There were times we think he might have been left out for, you know, an entire day, overnight. And again, yeah, being neglected, forgotten, may have actually saved his life. Weird, right? Because Trip got all the special treatment, including the bug spray. It probably killed him. So, hey, keep it light, right? Keep it light. That is what a man who has dementia and no one watching him is capable of doing. That and much more. My mom was in the hospital at the time. The last 2 years of her life, she spent, I want to say we added it up one time. My wife and I were like kind of keeping score. In the last 2 years of her life, she spent around 15 months of that. 15 out of 24. It's a fraction. Yeah, what is that, 5/8? Yeah, 5/8? Yeah, check this guy out. I can math. 5/8 of the last 2 years in the hospital. She had diabetes, COPD also. Not a smoker though. Now, I'm a light smoker. I have been a light smoker for a long time, but that doesn't mean that you are safe. But my mom, COPD, heart issues, she was diabetic, and was renal stage 4. So she had a list of things that could go wrong and frequently did. So yeah, she spent most of the last 2 years in the hospital, which meant that no one was watching my dad. So, and apologize for the recap for those of you who already know this. So last year, I took my dad to court and to become his legal guardian because I could see hideously where this might be going. My dad is a Vietnam vet, having wild hallucinations, PTSD, the dementia. And at the time, he was sitting on a stockpile of guns and ammunition. You start getting angry at people that aren't there, and you have 2 loaded guns in your pocket at all times. Yeah. How do they put it in Finding Nemo? Intervention! No. So yeah, the court gave me guardianship, which is still really weird. I mean, we're a year after that, and I'm still like, I'm basically my dad's dad in the eyes of the court. That's weird. We're supposed to be visiting him this week and do the admin stuff the home he's at and all that. We try and visit him at least once a month. And I call and talk to the head nurse or the psychiatric doctor at the facility at least once a week. The last time we were there was about three weeks ago. And it was clear when he was talking to me. My wife was with me. My wife is very much my partner in all things. She's awesome. You'll hear me refer to her as Pix. I've called her Pixie pretty much since we started dating like 30 years ago. It became clear to both of us that my dad was not talking to me as though I was his son. So Pix was like, do you know who this is? Referring to me. And my dad was like, it's my cousin. I haven't seen him in a while. And based on some other time-stampy things that my dad said, we're pretty sure. And I've done hundreds of hours of improv. So I can, and huge amount of RPGs, role-playing games. I started playing D&D when I was like 11. So I can roll with it, no problem. It's weird when it's your dad and they absolutely believe it. It's not just, part of a sketch or whatnot. Apparently something is very funny as far as Alex is concerned. So it became very clear through time-stampy things that he said regarding my mom and whatnot, that for my dad at that moment it was 1968. And I was his cousin from Seaver. And I'm guessing we were in Allentown at that moment. That's where I'm from. It's where he's from, pretty much raised. So yeah, we were in Allentown. It was 1968. I was my dad's cousin. Ready, begin scene. So we're not really sure who Pix was during this scene. Perhaps cousin's wife. I don't know. Cousin's girlfriend. I don't know. It's pretty surreal though. So, and he said that earlier that day he had seen Sandy, my mom, and he was thinking about asking her to marry him, and that she had been there. She was wearing like a white, like hospital gown or a white robe or something, and the room got really bright, and she wanted him to go with him, but he didn't understand where they were supposed to be going, so he just kind of stayed put. And then she went away, but she'll probably be back later. She probably had an appointment or something. She was going to come back and see him, which I know what that sounds like, but yeah. So yeah, when I say panic attack, panicky, feeling like I'm going to get a phone call, I'm referring to that kind of phone call. Because my dad has severe, he's in, depending on what gauge you want to use, he's in what is probably the last 6 months to a year of the dementia. And when I say last 6 months to a year, I mean before death. Just keeping it real. I know, keep it light, but it's reality. His brain is not functioning correctly. He has 4 holes in his brain. I've seen it on the MRI or whatever, the little X-ray type thing. It's neat. Seeing your dad's brain and being pointed out, there's 4 different holes here. It's like 4 different stroke events that cause that. So a stroke, by definition, will create a hole in your brain, basically. So, yeah, my dad does not exactly know what reality is. And his brain will eventually start shutting things down. He's having a harder time walking now. He's got a real tremble. These are all little signs and symbols that it's coming. And with his health conditions, another stroke, a cardiac event, because he's already had a couple little things there. There are a lot of things. He's flamenco dancing on the ice, So, or even a fall. Because falls are real common. Honestly, I get a phone call like once a month from where he is, because they'll say, he fell, he bumped his shoulder, he didn't hit his head, he seems okay, we're checking him out now. If we get concerned, we'll give you a call, we'll send him in for x-rays, And a couple times we have said, yeah, let's go the extra step here, because, yeah. Falls are real common with dementia patients, so, because they start losing their balance more easily, they're not as strong, it's real easy to, and that's just reality. That's not me being like dismissive, that's me, this is reality, this is where we are, So yeah, every day I expect that I might get that phone call, because every day I might get that phone call. And I mean, that's true for anybody, right? You never know when you're going to get a phone call. I've lost 2 people this year that at one point in my life were incredibly good friends. Incredibly good friends. Like, one was my best friend for probably 3 or 4 years in my 20s. And the other is, quite frankly, a girl I went to high school with that I almost married. Almost married her. Gone. And my buddy would have been, he's about a year older than me, so 56. And the girl was, she would have been turning 56 in a couple months. Gemini. Geminis are such wonderful trouble. If you're into that sort of thing, since we're getting to know each other, I am a Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Taurus rising. If you're really into that stuff, that's the details. My wife is a Scorpio. I tend to like water signs. From a dating standpoint, I actually sat down one day, and this is interesting because I didn't really do astrology until later, and then I looked back on my dating history, and I've dated quite a few ladies throughout the years, but the ones that I got serious with, interpret that however you want, but the ones that weren't just we went out for dinner, it was awkward and weird, we never hooked up again kind of thing. The ones that, we went out for a year, or, we went out for 6 months, you know, you get me. They were all water signs and Geminis. All water signs and Geminis. And the Geminis, again, wonderful trouble. I don't know long term how compatible we would be in that respect. But they are a great deal of enjoyment. Fun trouble. Yep. Best way I can think to put it and still keep it hovering around the PG bracket, But anyway, quick catch up on me. And I'm starting to prime the booth that's still together and the bases. In case you're into that sort of thing, the bases, I've almost got the epoxy top coat on all of them, so I should be able to start putting those back together again, like all three components, tomorrow, next day. Been trying to get stuff done around here, so when I take a break and watch a video, I'll sit down and like paint. Okay, done. It's my little micro reward throughout the day. Goofy, right? Definitely got my one brick done today. Just about got the pantry squared. Tomorrow when it's late, I can actually look at the expiration dates. Retail management, food management, I've got all that training, so I need to make sure that my dates are in there. Front to back, FIFO. Yeah. Because right now it's just corn, tomatoes, Because there's a lot of canned tomatoes up there too, but most of that stuff that I bought because I use them in everything. And it's a lot easier to use canned tomatoes than it is to try and keep fresh, for me anyway. So I need to organize the dates, get the older stuff out first. That's FIFO, first in, first out. If you're older, you know that one. If you're younger, you might not. So you're welcome. Boo-doo, boo-doo. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. Having some Harry and David. Or no. This is the Aldi donut shop blend. Yeah, pretty good too. Love this mug. There's no place like home. Anyway, so hug your parents. Hug your kids. Try not to treat your family like they're the enemy. Unless they are, then burn them to the ground. Okay, we'll remove that in post. Kidding. Seriously, you don't know how long you got, so try to be nice people. Give them a chance at least. After that, still try and give them a chance. If you can tell that they mean it, just avoid them, you know. There's enough nice people out there. You don't have to put up with being around mean people. Walk away, you know. So. And make it a great day.